What's up, everybody? Edman here, bringing my review on Walking Dead. And this episode was perfect. I really do like this episode. You know, it was a pretty good episode. I like the beginning, you know, the audio with Beth, and she's basically, I believe she's writing her diary, and she's writing to her mother, or she's talking to her mother, and she was saying how we're at this prison now, and everything is fine and safe, and I believe you can live here for a long time. And the thing is, what Beth doesn't realize is that, you know, now that the whole prison thing took place, I can see that she still doesn't realize that, yo, this road isn't safe, and there really is no safe place. There really is no safe place. Anything can happen. Now you can say, well, if the governor didn't do what he did, the prison would have probably been a safe place. Probably. But it went down the way it went down. Anything can happen. So I think that's basically what the writers were trying to say when they put in that flashback, kind of. And then, you know, Beth is with Daryl, and she's on this mission. Let's go find everybody. I believe everybody's still alive. And Daryl is basically, he has the same mindset as Sasha right now. He's basically saying, no, let's sit down, let's have a campfire, let's put ourselves back together, because what just happened was wild and everybody's minds is all over the place. And Daryl was basically trying to sit down and pull himself back together, but you know, Beth was on this mission to find everybody, and pretty much she finds out that she really can't handle herself because she almost got taken out by a walker. And she basically had to go through the same thing that Carl kind of had to go through, because Carl had this whole I'm a badass and I can do everything by myself. But then he soon realized that, you know, Rick almost died, and he thought Rick was a walker, and he's like, oh, I can't handle myself, I need you, Dad, and all that stuff. So I think that's basically what Beth had to go through right now, because when she saw the walker's body, she started to cry. And I think she needed to go through that and find out, yo, it's not a safe place out here. Everything, the way it seems, there's no safe place. It's not going to go down the way she thinks it is. So she really needed that. I think she really needed that progression, I guess you could say. So Daryl, basically, he has the same mindset as Sasha. You know, there's a high possibility that some people didn't survive, and I think that's basically what Daryl was trying to get out to her, that some people may have not survived. So that was a great thing right there. Then we go over to Tyrese. It's Tyrese, Lizzie, and Mika, and the baby. So Tyrese, I really like this part about Tyrese, because it shows that, you know, Tyrese could lead, you know, these little girls and a baby. He had a baby, and basically they had to walk throughout the night. If you guys remember this scene, they had to walk throughout the night into day because the baby kept crying, and Tyrese basically couldn't stop the baby from crying. So they had to walk throughout the night, and Tyrese, you know, he has Lizzie and Mika, and basically Lizzie is going through Lizzie's going through a change, and I think you guys need to realize this. Lizzie is basically acting like Carol right now, because Carol back at the prison, the reason why Rick had to let Carol go is because Carol was kind of a threat. If someone in the group was bitten or they were sick or anything like that, Carol was gonna kill them and not let them turn into a zombie like she did at the prison. She killed those bodies, she burned those bodies before they turned. So Lizzie, she was kind of showing those Carol symptoms, because the baby was crying. Mika was with Carol, was with Lizzie. Lizzie had the baby in her hand, and she had her hand over the baby's mouth. And I'm like, yo, what is she doing? The baby is suffocating, and Lizzie's sitting there. Her facial expression was a little weird and scary. And the two walkers was walking in front of Mika, and Mika's yelling out, you know, Lizzie, Lizzie, Lizzie. And then we get this scene where Mika's in the background, and Lizzie, she just has her hand over the baby's mouth, and Lizzie's not hearing anything. She blacked out, basically, and was just holding the baby's mouth down. Now, I'm wondering what happened. You know, we heard the gunshot, and Lizzie, Mika basically saved Tyrese, because he almost got killed by a walker. If he didn't hear the gunshot, he would have never turned around. So Mika basically saved him. Then we see Carol come out the woods with Mika, Lizzie, and the baby. So I'm wondering what happened during that scene. You know, what did Carol say to Lizzie? Because we heard the gunshot went off, and I don't think Lizzie reacted to it. So did Carol come and see what Lizzie was doing to the baby and stopped her and talked to her, or whatever the case may have been? what was the gap between Carol finding them and bringing them there? So I don't know. I hope they explain that. And then they basically follow the railroads, because the two dudes that are getting attacked, that basically one of them got killed, the other guy was crying. He says follow the railroad tracks. There's a town and it's safe and all that stuff. And the key word is safe, because there really is no safe place. He said it's safe. Go there, follow the tracks. It's okay. If it's safe, why were they basically leaving? Why did they leave the town, or why did they leave the camp? If it's safe, because it almost seemed as if they were trying to leave the camp. So I'm wondering to myself, is this place really safe? So I don't know about that, the whole it's safe thing. So then basically Tyrese and Carol and them are gonna go to that town, and hopefully we know it's not gonna be a safe place. There's gonna be some sketchy things going on there. So hopefully it really is safe. We go over to Bob. We go over to Bob, Maggie, and Sasha. Now Maggie, she's on this mission. She's on this let's save Glenn mission. And Sasha's saying, let's stay here, let's build a camp, let's get everybody together, we need food, we need drinks, this is a safe place to be. And Maggie's like, no, we need to go find Glenn, we need to go find Glenn. This is what I was saying about Beth. They need to stay and be teams, because if you can't help yourself, you can't help another, you can't save another. So they need to stay there and be a team. Don't try to venture off by yourself. Stay there and let's keep the team together. And then she goes off on her own, and they find the bus. And then she sees the bus, and she's like, okay, Glenn might be in there, I'm gonna go try to save Glenn by herself. And Sasha's like, no, we can't do this, you can't do it by yourself, we all need to think this thing through. So basically they try to do one at a time, didn't work. All the walkers came out, and Maggie she zoned out. She was just all over the place right now, just looking for Glenn. And I don't want this whole I want to look for Glenn, I want to look for Maggie thing. I don't want this to hurt their character, because looking for each other might keep their minds off of the group and off of being alive. She was going to open the door by herself and take out all those walkers. I don't want them thinking about each other to take away from the group. They need to focus more on what's going on right now to help them find each other later. Because Glenn is with Tara and Tara, and Maggie is with Bob and Sasha. So hopefully Maggie, her mind doesn't go off into another place, and she can stay and help the group out as a three, and not just be two people and one lunatic in the group. And so basically Glenn obviously wasn't on a bus, and so they're still looking for Glenn, and they're leaving and all that stuff. So like I said, I hope Maggie doesn't go into a psychopathic place. And Bob and Sasha, they have like a crazy relationship right now, because it's kind of like I don't know what I should call it. I don't know, but Bob, I think he's kind of like flirting with her or something, but not really. I don't know. There's like a crazy relationship going on with Bob and Sasha. But like I said, I hope Maggie doesn't ruin this group right now, because they do need to stick together so that they can help the others or find the others and all that stuff. So she definitely need to stay in her correct mindset. And a question that I take from this scene is, how did the people in the bus turn into walkers? Because there are no walkers in there, and I think most of them were sick. Did they die and then all of a sudden people were turning to walkers and they ate each other and stuff? Because no one ran out of the bus. I believe the bus was closed and shut when we found the bus. So how did they all turn into walkers and start eating each other? You could get out of the bus. So that was kind of a mystery thing. How did they all turn into walkers and no one escaped from the bus or anything? The door wasn't open. Obviously if someone's scared, they're going to open the door and not try to shut it. They're going to open the door and leave. So that was kind of the question that came up. How did they turn into... I know how they turned into walkers, but what went down inside that bus and turned them into walkers? Maybe it's just me. But leave your comments down below and tell me, what do you guys think? How did they turn into walkers in that bus? Then we see Glenn. We see Glenn, and he's with he basically meets up with Tara, but we see Glenn. He's passed out. He's at the prison, passed out. Wakes up, and he goes throughout the prison. Scavenger, found knives. He took a cup of baby food and all that stuff. So Glenn right now, he basically lost his mind a little bit in the prison. He's thinking about Maggie, and so he kind of lost his mind a little bit, you know, crying and stuff. But he put himself back together, found the SWAT suit, and now he left the prison. He saw Tara, and basically Tara was sitting there in the cut by herself, and he found her, and her gun still had bullets in it. So that was kind of weird, you know. She was basically freaking out. There was a scene where he threw like a bottle, threw it at a car. It blew up, right? So the walkers started walking towards the flames. Now I'm like, when did the walkers leave flesh and walk towards flames, towards a fire? Because back at the farm was burning up, everything was burning up, and in the last couple of seconds of that episode, the walkers were just walking away, and they weren't going after they weren't going to the barn and trying to touch the fire and stuff. And so I'm like, why in this scene it had to be some kind of plot device to you know, get the walkers away from Glenn, obviously, because we've never seen that before. I don't think we've seen that before, where walkers left flesh to go to fire. You know, but I'm gonna let that slide. So Tara and Glenn, they leave, and she's going through this whole thing like, why do you need me? And he's like, well, I need you in order to help me find my friend, or my wife. And she basically, you know, she was like, oh, the old dude died, and he was like, oh, Herschel. She was like, yeah, you know, she was really down on herself. And you know, even though the mayor is the reason why all this happened, she was really down on herself, and you know, Glenn had to find out the hard way that Herschel died. So then Glenn was basically taking out walkers, and then he basically passed out of dehydration, exhaustion, all that stuff. And Tara, there's a group of people in an army truck. We can assume that they were in the army because they had army gear on, and they come over to Tara, and Glenn is on the floor passed out. And then basically that was the episode. Now I think that they're gonna take them because they're in like a truck or whatever. I don't think they have a group, if you guys saw the sneak peek. So they're gonna basically try to get them to join them, obviously. So everyone basically right now has found a group. Everyone is safe. You know, Rick is with Michonne and Carl. We see Beth is with Daryl. Maggie, Sasha, and Bob are together, and Tyrese, Carol, Lizzie, Mika, and the baby found the camp. So there's two people who found the camp, two groups who found the camp, and three groups who are basically solo. No, two groups who are solo. So 3 groups are solo right now. So I don't know how this is gonna play out. Are the 2 camps that they're going to, that each other are going to, because Glenn and Tara are basically going with those people, and I guess they're gonna form a group with themselves. Carol and Tyrese, they're going into an actual group. So I wonder what's gonna happen with them, and are they gonna meet up with the other people, like the whole prison and the governor situation? Are they gonna both be on opposite sides and meet up and clash? What's gonna go on? What's gonna happen? So leave your comments down below. What do you guys think is gonna happen with the groups that's splitting up and stuff? Do you think Tyrese and Carol are gonna meet up with Glenn and the dudes in the army? Are they gonna bump heads later on in the season? And basically, you know, they're trying to take each other's resources. So what do you guys think? Leave that down in the comment section below. Remember to subscribe, guys. Subscribe, like the video if you guys liked it. I'm Edman. I'm out.